Welcome back. Constantine the philosopher here, back again. Today I have surprise Rocky with me, my slow dog. Hopefully we can make some kind of walk. It's gonna be very hard. Rocky, don't stop. Let's go. Today I was thinking to discuss about why I left LA. And to go straight to the point, there were many reasons. When I went there in '93, things used to be pretty cool. Matter of fact, everything was pretty affordable and life was good. Like I said before, you can go out with $100, you're set for the week pretty much. The weekend you live you can have a good time or a great evening. Matter of fact. Anyway, so financially that was number one of the main reasons, not number one, but one of the main reasons for the value. Like here, everything's natural. The fruits, the food, the people are amazing. Peaceful, clean. The air is pure. I mean, those are the reasons. Obvious. But the reason why I left is not why I came here. It's more like the reason why I left is because it has gone insane. Like the people going crazy, especially in Los Angeles where I used to live. It was insane. I mean, like the homelessness. First of all, I mean, part of it, right? It used to be like I would see one homeless guy in my neighborhood once a month. Let's say walk by, and it became like once, every 3 weeks. Maybe two every 3 weeks. Then one, with a, smashing windows or, hitting cars. One, with a knife, and, they were aggressive, you can't even say go away, Then the police would be involved, then politically correctness, you cannot arrest them, blah, blah, or something like this, you can't do anything. So anyway, it was becoming crazy, like they start moving in slowly. Like, it was like, first was like a few blocks away, then it became, a couple of blocks away, then it became, next door. Sorry, my dog is very slow. So, yeah. And, it's like, okay for temporary, but then they move in, then they bring another guy, and then they bring another guy, and then it becomes like a whole community of, crazy people, because they're not like, normal people, most of them. It's not you have like nice people next door, watching your back or something. They're always yelling, they're smashing things, they trash everything. So, yeah, to go to the point, the reason I moved out of LA is because, the most important, become like a third world country, I mean, insane, I would say maybe fourth if there is such a number. It has become like, a disaster. The insanity, people, always mad, like homeless. Pretty much everybody has become like, maybe not homeless because they're in the poverty level. They get angry easily, they get triggered, they drive like maniacs. I used to be the only one driving like crap, I would get tickets all the time because, Europeans, we're insane. And now, before I left, I mean, the last few years, I felt like I was, I was like, well, everybody caught up with me and, they became worse. And people, like when I had like a small accident, like somebody wouldn't let me in, when I get in the freeway, they wouldn't let me in. So I scratched somebody's car because, he didn't understand, like when, you try and go in traffic, one car goes from the left, one goes from the right, like when we merge together, we give, a little, kindness, but you want to be like an ass. So he squeezed it, and I'm like, dude, I'm gonna, So he got mad that, I was showing him a lesson, like kindness, He's like, oh, he got completely insane. Like I killed his mother, like a little scratch on both cars, like a little, like mini, like my nail, a little scratch. He got insane. So yeah, I mean, I was concerned for my safety. I couldn't imagine having a family there. The prices are crazy, the housing, like my place, in the middle of nowhere. Like in Chinatown is nice, but come on. Like the price was like $500,000 or minimum. Like what? For homelessness outside and the police can do nothing. Then my neighbor in the back, her daughter, whatever, one of those, he, she, whatever, one day lost it, right? Came over because she was out of medication, I guess, So we had to hear, I live in a duplex. So, I mean, not duplex, but the house behind me in the same lot. Start smashing the window of her mother. The police comes over, they cannot arrest her for like an hour because she wants to be called he, she, or she has a medication problem. The mother's like justifying it. It's like insanity, like she started threatening, my wife. And you can do nothing, And then, hello. And then the next day they release her because, she's supposed, her medications, But, you can smash windows, you can, call the police. I have to pay the police, for example, the taxes, right? For people like that, So it's like, are we in sync here? Are we like, what is going on here? It's become like a clown show, It's like You want to live in a circus, you know? Move to LA. And matter of fact, overpaying, you know, a circus. If it was for free, at least you're like, whatever, you know? Maybe I'll deal with it. And now they're trying to clean up, you know, they're trying to change the laws for homelessness, he, she, whatever is going to be gone. It's like, dude, it's like, it's too late. You know, the party, you know, once you open those things, you know, it's like feminism. Once you open the gates, you know, the gates are open, the flood, the effects are here to stay for a long time. Sorry, guys, the dogs are hard to walk. Okay, bravo, you're walking at least. So yeah, so I packed my dogs, I shipped everybody, you know, all my stuff. Thank God, you know, here everything shipping was easy. And same, I mean, the dog was a bit pain in the ass, but and the pretty pricey, but worth. I would never leave the dogs behind. Trust me, it was worth every dollar. Never look back. And I can't imagine what's happening now. I mean, it has been like 6 months and 7 months almost. I can't even imagine what's happening now. I mean, the next few years are going to be like a disaster. I'll tell you that. Especially AI coming in. I mean, I can't even imagine anything possible to go revert back to normal. Also, everybody on the mobile 24/7, you know, people have, the parents are completely like, you know, divorced. Like I said, half of them, you know, everybody hates each other, angry. The school's education is like probably, here it makes it like kind of class, you know, A. So yeah, to give you a few reasons, you know, I want to have a family like a normal person. I mean, you know, it's like I'm old school, but yeah, the new school sucks, you know. If that's new school, you know, where everybody, you know, like I heard like in the black community, like 80% divorces, you know. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm old school then, yeah. Sorry, you know. Well, I don't think, you know, I don't want to, you know, have my kid, you know, one parent have, drama, you know. So, yeah, so that's why I'm here. So like I said, you know, first, you know, it was like, you know, the anger, you know, the pricing, the homelessness. And then pretty much everybody has become like, you know, like a crazy person to be there. I think everybody's stuck kind of, you know, everybody's like there because they have their family, they have their friends, they have their job. You know, they are, you know, thank God I didn't, you know, I don't put like, you know, I transfer my business here, everything, boom, boom, you know. I'm very, you know, portable. Because because of situations like this, you know, you have to be ready. Like I have like almost, I have 3 passports, just in case. I mean, you have to have like, you know, options, you know. My bad, sorry, 2. I mean, working on the 3rd one eventually. But that's how you do it. You know, my kids are gonna have 3 passports. That's what I meant. Yeah, I work hard. You know, I'm gonna go now to next, you know, in a couple of weeks to Manila, take care of that. You do this, you know, to prepare ahead, you know, of the game, because you know, because this world, sorry, the dogs don't walk at all. Because you know, this place has, you know, that place has become like, you know, not only that, like I said before, it has become like an evil, you know, negative energy, negative. You know, I mean, you can see this anger from me. It's like I'm trying to recover from this, you know, this hyperness. I was always hyper, always, you know, there's a negativity from this constant, you know, like I feel like everybody happy here. I'm very confused. I'm trying to process that. I haven't seen that since I was a child, you know, like in the 80s. And still in Greece was not so, you know, let's say so happy. It was a transition where, you know, I told you, like when I went there, it was when the inflation was hitting, everything was getting expensive. So that's why I'm here, you know. That's why I left. And many people leaving, I mean, you know, then you have the taxes, you know, then you have like, I mean, all the permits you need. Oh my God, about those. Anything you build, you know, anything. I remember like I was trying to build a house in 2009, 10. I went to the city, they gave me, they sent me like to 3 different floors in the building, 5 floors, I think. 1 floor was closed on Tuesdays. You have to go Thursdays, 11 to 1, you have to pay 5,000 for a permit. Then the other guy has to, you know, approve another thing. Then we eventually went to an inspector. We took the whole, you know, architecture of the current, you know, thing I was trying to fix, right? He marked, because there was nobody else doing it, right? He did like 150 marks on the whole design. Each change was like probably $5,000. That was like, you know, with no explanation. And that's how, you know, LA has become. And every day, of course, you want to spend like, you know, $500, you know, for, you know, average per day, you know, or nowadays, you know, I mean, if you're low budget, $100 a day gone. That's your day. If you're really like on budget, squeeze it with roommates. Yeah, that's your day. $100. So yeah, you tell me the value. Hello. Hello, how are you? Hi, hi. How are you? So here, yeah, that's what you know. That's why you come here to, before you before you're gone from Earth, to see some normal people. Say hello. Very friendly. I feel like the crazy guy here. The damage is done. So hopefully I can recover. That's what's my. It's kind of like if you want to quit smoking, I guess, or find find religion. Calito Brigande, find religion. Yeah. You come here, put it together. It's a beautiful place. Look at this nature, fresh. Fruits on the trees, bananas, palm trees, coconuts. Yeah. There you see, it's like it's dirt. Noise, pollution, anger, negative. Everybody competing for everybody for every. I mean, I remember like just. I mean, anyway, the amount of I mean, it was not fun anymore. It's a beautiful place. Don't get me wrong. The place is great. The people have gone local because now they are stuck in their house. Like I said, for families. Some people bought the house or they have still mortgages, and they're stuck to them because they cannot refinance. They cannot. The rates are going so high to refinance. To get rid of the house, so they are stuck with them. They cannot sell now because everything's so expensive. Nobody can buy anything. It's a disaster, and that's only like this. Then I said like the divorce on the other side. Then the finance, everything's double, triple since 5 years ago. Like a car, my Toyota was like 30 grand. I saw the same price a few years ago. I went to check, 2021. It was like 75. I was like, what? Toyota? It doubled. They say it's 10% or whatever. Like, come on, son. It's 50%. Everything up, minimum. I would say double or triple some places, and it's not over yet. The party's not over yet. Yeah, so those are reasons, very big, important reasons. I mean, look at this. Compare this to, downtown LA. Yeah, you have nice museums, you have nice, opera. The opera always, $400 ticket. I remember the concert, $1,000 ticket. Coachella, $500. Everybody, I heard like 60% pay with some app, that you have to pay with the interest. Affirmative or some crap like this. Some app that you pay like, payments for a ticket. And I used to work for Coachella, like I had the jobs. I felt bad for the people going there, even going for free. I was like, come on. I mean, for that you pay $1,000 or whatever. Then VIP or behind the scenes, you pay like $2,000, $5,000. I mean, I don't even know the prices. It's a joke. Hollywood Bowl. I mean, a stadium has become like a. You buy something in the stadium, food. Forget about it. $20 for like a piece of bread. I mean, I don't know. It's insane. It's like a joke. You buy a beer, maybe like somebody told me like they bought 2 things for like $60. 2 beers. I mean, I don't know. It's out of control. It's become like a joke. Everything you do is like you can't enjoy anything. Disneyland. I went to my wife. I spent like $500 for the basic, day parking, free tickets. The basic. I'm trying to find a good deal too. I didn't want to, I had to take her to show the immigration that we did things together. I mean, I was like, maybe it's fun to see too, it's fun. It's a good experience. Don't get me wrong, I love Disney. I mean, not the current state with the political correctness, but I love, the guy who built it, his vision. Yeah. But then you have all the, the rights on top of it lately, before I left. All the, people get angry. They break things. I had 2 guns. I had 1 gun in my car, 1 gun in the house. Sorry, the dog's U-turn. Because I was like, I was concerned for my safety. Like, you never know if the rights, expand. I mean, you don't know. So I had to go training. I had to spend money for, get permits, all this for this crap. You feel like a psychopath. I mean, you feel like literally like you're worried about this place. It's not violent. I mean, it's not violent every day, but it takes only one situation, one wrong turn, or one crazy guy in the street, on a bad day, out of jail, who knows what. It's very, tense, very hectic, People have no respect, nothing, Nobody respects for the elder. Here's a different world. People, respect everything. They don't like to have arguments here. I like that. They don't like to have situations. My house, never argument, never. Small things, you know, like okay, sometimes misunderstandings, whatever, but nothing like in America. Even the relationships, are like, oh my god, what's like full work, full-time job you want to have? Get a girlfriend in America. Good lord, never satisfied. You know? Hey, I had some nice girlfriends though. I mean, but they were not from LA. That's a fact. The ones from LA were not very down to earth because when you're born there, you lose your marbles. Think Orange County. Watch the movie to see. Pretty much was the same thing. She was from Orange County, and the movie pretty much matched exactly her behavior. Yeah, it's literally a clown show. A clown show, sorry. A circus. If you like circus, I mean, I feel bad for the actors and everything, first of all, because I admire them. It's a job, I mean, it's not easy, And it's a place to be for acting and for the artists too, I mean, I like, music, good music. But, the quality has gone so low, The quality has gone so low, the political correctness of the movies, and all these, remakes. There's nothing original. Everything is crap, Nobody goes to the movies because of that. Everything is garbage. I mean, of course, you have the cell phone that took over. But still, it's like, it's another dimension. I feel like I live in the Twilight Zone. I feel like a guy who came from, a veteran from the 40s, right? Come back from war. He's like, what the fuck happened, He goes from war to new civilization. He's like, what happened? In a good way. He goes like from the bad to the good. He's like from going from the good to the bad. It's like you go down, downhill. And you want to just like, you want to start questioning. Like you're like every day you're like pretty much surviving. That's exactly the word. You leave America because you're in survival mode. It used to be, okay, to buy a house was not easy, but it was possible. Maybe in the 90s up to 2000, let's say 10. But after that, it was game over. 2015, it was like 10 years now. It's over. I mean, there's nothing. Even buying there, just paying the taxes, you'd be like, let's say you buy $1 million house, right? How much is tax? 2%? 20,000 a year tax? I mean, might as well rent. It's rent money. Then you have insurance, another 20,000. Then you have, what do you have? You have maintenance, another 20,000. I mean, you're like already 60,000, right? I mean, you can keep going. I'm sure you have some extra things that I forgot. Permits you want to expand, or who knows what the hell. Interest you have to pay on the house. So you buy the $1 million house for 2 million or 3, depending how shitty the interest. Maybe 3. I mean, isn't that a reason? So yeah, those are a few reasons why. Anyway, I'm gonna stop here because I see a lot of dogs here, dog commotion. I leave you with Rocky and Luna here. And a little ducky. Bongo. Have a good one, and feel free to ask me any questions if I can help you. Take care.